Hi, everyone. I am here to talk about how to seamlessly change industries in the PM role. I'm currently a senior product manager at Salesforce, and my name is Soumi. Little bit about me. As I said, I have been working in Salesforce for about 2 years now, and have developed a new product right from scratch. And I have about 7 years of experience in the product industry. I started my journey in 2012 with Zycus Associates, which is a pharma analytics company. And I started my product role there. I started building an incentive compensation product, which is to help the businesses trying to compensate the executive level based on different parameters. Then afterwards, I went to ISB to pursue my MBA on IT and product management. Then I joined a firm called Indigene, which is also in the pharma domain. And there I was a part of the flagship product development, which is called Indigene Omnipresence. And I was one of the founding members of that team. And then by the end of my stint, we already launched our mobile product, and a couple of products on the website also went to pilot. To get a taste of a different domain, then I switched to Zycus in 2017, which is a company which deals with procurement. And there again, I was a part of a blank new product, which is onboarding to procurement, how to onboard suppliers to procurement, and an end-to-end suite for the buyers to shop. And this kind of unified 5+ products, and this went successful with some greenfield customers. Post that, I joined Salesforce in 2019. I conceptualized the biggest industry's cloud, which is just released, which is called loyalty management, and we were able to successfully pilot and launch this cloud. On my free time, I do a lot of music. I own a music channel on YouTube. I am an avid reader. I read a lot of books, and I also want to be a traveler. Probably after COVID, I'll start traveling to new places and more explore. So here is a brief abstract of my agenda. As all of us know what a day in a life of a PM typically looks like, we're just going to cover that. And then what is a recipe of product management? And when you switch industries, I have switched industries about 3 times in a span of 6 years, and there are some key takeaways or some trends which I have noticed. So we will quickly move over those. First things first, so as we all know, product team is the glue which holds a lot of teams together, and typically we work with a lot of cross-functional teams. The biggest one is probably engineering, and this is in the initial phase of the product when you start developing your product and start building it out. And very integral part of that journey is also the design. So we also work very closely with design teams to maximize the usability, researching a lot on the user personas, trying to identify their pain points and how to solve it using design. Marketing comes a little bit later in the curve, when we try to message our product in the correct way to internal and external stakeholders. Sales team is, of course, we work with a lot of account management teams, solution engineers, solution architects who reach out to potential customers. Customers is, again, the center around which all of these work. So from the day one, when we are doing research, right till pilot and towards launch, customer is always top of our mind and top of our priority list. We have to empathize and solve for their pain points. Last but not the least, we have also seen little bit of work with product with the legal team. This is typically very important in some high compliant industries like like government sector or healthcare industries, but a little bit of flavor is always there no matter which industry we go to. Over my experience, I have seen 2 types of PM roles coming out very clearly. One is a generalist PM who kind of changes the domains and tries to mix up the domain a little bit. You can see them across healthcare, across e-commerce, housing, the latest mobile app technology, or manufacturing, loyalty, procurement, all of these use cases. And these types of people normally have a horizontal career growth, and they have a very high flexibility to acquire new PM skills because they bring in that richness from different industries. They can very quickly adapt to new industry best practices, and they can very easily switch to product leadership positions irrespective of the industry because they're very strong at the core PM skills. The second type, which is equally important, is the domain expert. These are people who try to start with a particular industry and then stick to that industry for a long period of time. Such people experience vertical career growth, and they are the subject matter experts of a particular domain, having worked for long duration of time. We have also seen transition from other functions like sales or marketing or engineering. When they work on a particular domain for a long period of time, they make that transition very smooth to the PM role, and they can switch very easily to domain leadership position, something like a customer relationship manager or a sales manager, because they know that domain and those customers and personas in and out. Irrespective of the industry, there are a few recipes of product management which always comes for us handy. So no matter whether you are a generalist PM or a domain expert PM, you have to keep the core part of a PM job very, very handy to yourself. The first one is strategy, and it starts with a passion to solve real world problems. You read a lot about the real world problems, irrespective of the industry you belong to. You try to understand the pain points of the customer. And one important pointer here is that product management is supposed to work right from the developers to the executive leadership. So you should be able to zoom out to the overall product vision while also managing at the grassroots level. One of the biggest, or I should say, the most popular questions asked in the PM interview is the third one, which is break a seemingly impossible problem into small chunks of problem and then do it and then tackling it one by one. So breaking a larger problem into small actionable insights and then tackling one of them at a time is a very, very important PM skill. Typically, each product starts with a seemingly difficult problem, impossible problem, but then you should prioritize the list and you should try to get out an MVP first and then build the more enhanced version slowly. The second part is, I would say, a little bit more tactical. And one of the things which I have learned with experience is ask right questions to the right audience, or in other words, know your audience. I have also seen this skill becoming more and more scarce, as we move up the ladder, because it's very easy to lose touch of the real world. But for example, if we ask a customer what is a feature which you want to do, typically in a B2B SaaS product, you are going to get bombarded with a lot of ideas or feature requests, which is going to take away the charm of your roadmap. So you should, instead of asking what features would you like to see, you should probably ask what problem are you trying to solve? And that will lead you to some of the best ideas of feature. You might not end up implementing the exact same things which the customer wanted, but they will come around and see the value proposition which you are providing. Although the second point is product managers don't typically work with with coding or the actual architecture, but when the more easier it will be when you try to grow in that career. Again, once a product is launched, it's all data. It's all about how your users are using your product, how your customers are adapting to your product, how much they like your product. So right from the beginning of the journey till the end of the journey and beyond, you should always be able to comfortable with the data and read, write, and speak the language of data. The third one, which is a probably more overlooked these days, is the soft skills of a product manager. You work with multiple teams, multi geographical teams, cross functional teams, and none of them report to you because you are kind of a different siloed team. So you should be able to lead without authority. and because they're not answerable to you, but you still have to get your work done. So this takes a lot of guts and courage to sometimes be, straightforward and sometimes smoothen your tone. So if leading comes naturally to you, this is the best profession to be in. You should be able to promote a culture of inclusion. For myself, I have seen some of the best ideas of product not come from the product management team, but from some engineers or some designers. So make sure to touch base with them regularly and ask, what do you think is going right? What do you think is going wrong? Some of the account management teams, of the teams which are very close to customer, like the solution engineers, the architects, and implementation partners, they interact day in, day out with customers. So some of the, again, the best ideas come from them as well. And as I mentioned, know when to choose your customer versus your product. If your product is going to be very, very diluted because you are focusing to fulfill the needs of one customer, it kind of becomes a service, not a product. So you should be able to choose, when do I say no to a customer and what requests should I take up, and then also asking the right questions, making them in order of priority. This is just a simple adaptability curve which I have adapted whenever I changed my industry from healthcare to procurement and then procurement to loyalty. In the first month, I have always focused in a lot of reading because when I switched from, example, healthcare to procurement, they were diagonally opposite industries, and there was nothing common between these two industries or their personas or their pain points. So it ended up being a lot of reading exercises for me and doing a lot of competitor study. What are their offerings? What are the customers or the real users say about the product? And also a lot of inquisition. It's okay to step in a room where you are new and then not contributing at all from the first day, but just listening and to their conversations and trying to get your head around, okay, this is the persona I'm trying to focus my product on. These are the pain points. These are some of the trends. Here are the top competitor names. So it's absolutely okay if you don't contribute from day one, but having that inquisition alive in you is very, very important. Try to meet a lot of people, try to book time with your manager or your colleagues who have been working in that industry, and try to leverage from their expertise. In the first quarter, you should be able to devote more and more time to meet SMEs across functions. SMEs mean subject matter experts, and they can either be in your company or they can be even outside your company, in your friend circle or in your mentor. So you should be able to extract as much knowledge as possible from them. By the end of first quarter, you should be able to plug and play PM skills. This does not mean that you should go deep into the industry and know everything about the industry, but able to write user stories, able to groom those with the engineering team. If you're already a part of established product, you get on some customer calls and try to shadow somebody who is speaking, or try to get more and more invites to the design research sessions. It will definitely help you a lot in the months to come. In 6 months plus, you would have probably gone around multiple cycles of unlearning, learning, and then relearning. So as long as you don't bring the baggage of your past industry experiences with you, you should be good. You should be able to adapt to the new industry and your new workplace. And listen more and be patient. This has always been my backup plan when all else fails. Always try to listen more instead of talking a lot, especially in customer meetings. Try to understand what their pain points are. They will not directly speak that about to you, but try to read their tone, try to read their language, or when they speak about one area with a lot more passion, it means that they probably would want more problems to solve in that area. So always keep this skill handy even in the long-term product growth, or even when you are even not changing the domains. That's all from me. And most of all, have fun while you build your product, be passionate, and keep building amazing products. Here is my email ID. Feel free to reach out to me in case you have any questions. Hoping you all have a great day. Bye bye.